Funny book. That hey. Welcome, friends. Buck here. It's another Saturday night. Bait shop with Buck. This week we're gonna do things a little bit different. So tonight we're gonna talk all about crappie. Crappie. Hope everybody had a crappie Valentine. Made it through another Hallmark holiday, huh? Wonderful. Okay. Fishing with Buck tonight. We're going to bounce around a lot. We're actually going to hit Mudwater, Rocky, the other one there, Naharan, and Quanskin. Save Quanskin for last. I figured we're going to lose a lot of money bouncing to all these places in 2 hours. We're not gonna make enough fish catching calico bass, bachelor shad, that's for sure, to pay the bills. So we'll talk about the sticks I got down there that I'm going to take with me on this little adventure, and got a couple of bottom rods that we're going to save for the end there after the show, so we can make some money with them flatheads down at Quanskin. So I'm thinking that's how we're going to get away with that one over there. So, what are we going to talk about a little bit here? Well, crappie. Oh, by the way, the Bream Feeder Frenzy tournament still going on this weekend. The semifinals is today, I believe, and tomorrow is the final. And that's why I kind of am doing this crappie thing here, because I'm thinking that it buys them time, to work on bug fixes and things like that. If they shove another tournament up there, it buys them a whole nother week. And this should already be coded, in my opinion. So this should be a no-brainer. Slam it up there, buy the developers another week, polish up some things. I know they're working real hard on this club thing because they're over there asking on their server, on their Discord server, they're over there asking for input on how to make the clubs better. In other words, they want somebody to tell them how to make it work. Oh, watch my videos. I told you how to do it. I'm not writing it all down. It's too much to fix. No, we'll save it for another day. Maybe I'll just do a video. Whoops. Maybe I'll just do a video on that instead of sitting down and writing it, and I'll submit the video. Here you go, fellas. Alrighty, so we're talking about crappie here. The crappie, they got their own genus. Pomoxis, right? You know how all these Latin for the scientific names. Pomoxis. We got Pomoxis annularis, and we have Pomoxis negro maculatus. Black and white crappies. Okay? And, oh, by the way, there's a link to the DLC breakdown for the Crappie Valentine Day thing in the description down there. So if you're thinking about picking that up before go ahead and check out the video. I tear it all apart like I always do. Check it out. It'll help you out a little bit. Okay, so these black and white crappies that we're talking about here, guys. Let's get them up there, huh? Hey, we'll turn the fish on and the lures on. You might as well turn it all on. And now you got it up there. All right, there we go. Well, God, that way I don't have to go back and push any buttons. We'll just talk about them all. The black crappie. Depending on where you're from, this thing could be known as a strawberry bass, calico bass, speckled bass. Now, the white crappie, depending on where you're at, silver perch, white perch, barfish, my favorite, the bachelor shad, and, of course, the ringed crappie. These are all different names depends on where you're at for these fish, okay? As adults, now these crappie are pretty smart. I think they can smell, they can see, they got nostrils. In fact, they got 4 nostrils, more than the standard 2 most fish. And, the nostrils are located up there behind their snoot there. They got ears behind the eyes. Now, the crappie's even got a lateral line, so he can detect sound, so they can hear. So they're smart. I mean, what do they eat? Well, they eat their predator young. What they do. They figure, what better way for existence than they eat small minnows. They love small minnows, so and they eat the young of their predators: muskie, pike, walleye. Um, that's what crappie do. They eliminate how many they're gonna have chasing them in a while by eating as many as they can. And that's the thing. But they got a varied diet. I mean, these things eat bloodworms, marshmallows, um, redworms, all kinds of stuff. Waxworms, crickets, maggots. So depending on the year for crappie, um, is what you feed them. I mean, they eat less. They're less active during the day. More active. The way we fish for them here is if we're going out for big pike or big muskie, hit early morning, go catch some crappie. Get enough, take home. Crappie's good eating. Get a couple of crappie to take home. Get a couple of crappie for bait. Crappie are gray bait for big muskie, big pike. They like them. All right, so kind of hit your day up that way. And if you didn't get any in the morning for bait or to take home, then at the end of the day, go back towards those holes. These crappie move a lot. That's why it's tough to find crappie. They move around a lot. They're on structure a lot. They like brush piles, submerged trees, logs, grass beds, weed beds. And these guys move around depending on the water temperature. They will move all over a lake. So they're tough to find. Just because they're not there in the morning, depending on the temperature of that water, it could be but they might be back there in the afternoon because it warmed up a little bit. So never always. It's like checking traps. Check your crappie holes a couple times a day. You don't know when they're going to show up, for sure. Water. Well, your black crappies, they're going to be found in water. They don't like turbulent water, like clear water, calm water, not a lot of turbulence. That's your blacks. Your whites, they can tolerate that turbulence. They can tolerate the murkiness too. They're not so finicky. So, basic line there. I like it's 7 pH and below, you're going to find black crappie. 7 pH and above, you're going to find white crappie. Now, you get that lake that's perfectly set at 7, you get them both. I don't know the pH content of Quanskin, but I assume that it's right at 7. Same with North Carolina, Naharan. They have both. So I assume it's right at 7 for that waterway. Okay? Adults, we went over that. Okay, there's started zooplankton, insects, crustaceans, crawfish. Where do I have I had it all listed here. Typically, large amounts of insects and plankton in the spring. Okay? Now, in the summer, they turn to fish. They're gonna eat fish, minnows, small minnows. So if you're fishing for crappie in the summer, your best bet's going with minnows. What we do around here, what we like to do is kind of like the same way we fish for walleyes. Take a jig head, put a grub on it, and tip it with a minnow. And that's great. You don't always have to tip. The walleye love that tipped with a minnow. You can just go with the grub or a mini grub with the turned down tail. Anything that's got a little bit of movement, twisty tail-like thing. Crappies love that stuff. So you're good there. Tube baits work real good for crappie also. Make sure you got them in your tackle box. Okay? So in the summertime, fish, right? And they turn to larger bait fish and crayfish in the fall. Crappie are, the way their eyes are set, they're set for hitting minnows above them, but they got no problem digging crawfish out of the bottom either. Okay, so it depends on the time of year for these guys. And then of course back to insects and fish for in the winter time for crappie. So like the clear water, like I said, they can smell. They got good noses. They got taste buds. They can taste. Crappie's kind of like a catfish there. You can see, they're bumping. They don't always hit right away. They're a subtle bite, nibble before they decide they want to take it, right? So don't always be yanking and banking just at the bump of a line with a crappie. Got to treat them like catfish when it comes to that setup and that hookup. Okay, what else you got on your list here, Buck? Oh, I think the record now for these crappies out there is somewhere right around 5 or 6 pounds. 6 pounds, I think the guy has one out there. 2018. This dude just topped the record off. But this fish is like half a pound to 3.5 pounds is your average on these crappies. Now, if you live in some of the cool states, you got some monster crappie. If you're like the top 5 pound, where they boast 5 pounders in Minnesota and in South Carolina, they got 5 pounders on the record books in those 2 states. Other states that if you're into crappie and you live in Arizona, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Ohio, Illinois, Missouri, Washington, and Alabama. Big crappie. So, crappie's fun. You get some ultralight gear and latch onto a 5 pound crappie. You got yourself a fight. That's for sure. Now think about that 5 pound crappie. There's some guys that don't catch bass that big. I mean, that's a monster. All right, what kind of baits are we going to use for these guys? Well, I kind of got them all running up there for you. Mainly for these guys, it's marshmallows, waxworms, crickets, small minnows, bloodworms, and maggots. Your nano spinners, nano spoons are real good. Grubs and tubes. And what's nice about that is you can grab these crappie on some small spinning gear. And I'm taking one here. We'll get over there in a little bit here. We'll take a look at my sticks. Yeah, definitely get yourself. Now you don't want, and we'll talk about that when we get over it. You don't want to go too light with crappie. Not too light. All right. Colors. Oh, your lure colors. For crappie, even your small soft baits, yellows, whites, chartreuse. Number one, they don't like murky water. They'll come to the surface if the water's murky. They'll get shallower, definitely. You want your colors. You want them whites, yellows, chartreuse. Seem to work really good. What else? What am I taking? Taking flipping sticks. That's how I like to fish for them. So, got a bunch of telescopic rods here that I'm going to take with me, and of course one spinning rod. Let's go over there, Buck. Let it load up first. You haven't brought it. There it is. Haven't brought the game up yet. Got it? Yeah. All right. So let's go take a look. Well, what's our forecast going to be? We're going to have a single peak here for mudwater. All right. Then we're going to go to Rocky. What's that one? Same thing. I don't think this works. Then we're going to hit Heron. Look at that. Oh, now that one changed. Okay, let's go back to Rocky. See if it goes back to single. Yeah, that goes to single peak. Oh, but now mudwater just went to 2. Does this game ever stay normal? What's Quanskin going to be like? Ouch. Alright, well, we'll play around and hit some of the spots for Quanskin in the morning. At least I got a good peek for at the end of the night catching catfish. we're gonna struggle a little bit for our crappies, but I got a couple of good spots over there. Oops. So what we're gonna do is I thought that if I were going to fish the Crappie Valentine tournament, we're gonna fish tonight at the holes that I would go to. Mudwater, I got a couple of spots for, I like to fish for crappie, so I've fished all these waterways for crappie. Not because the missions put me there, just because I like to do that. I like to fish for crappie, and I like to do it in real life too. So, we're gonna hit a couple of my holes that I would hit if I were going to do this tournament. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe somebody will hit them and they'll do well in the tournament. That'd be nice. Let me know if you do. If you do decide to hit some of my holes, let me know how you do. Alrighty, so let's go over here, Buck, and take a look at your sticks here. What do we got to start off with? All right. Well, I didn't buy a lot of little sticks because I ended up getting them in DLCs. Okay, so I didn't want to duplicate anything. So right off the bat, we're going with my little tomahawk with the Pocahontas on it. Okay, this is just a telefloat with a Callistos XS. And the only thing difference is the telefloat is a 6-pounder. They made this 6.1, and Callisto XS is a 5 3/4. It's 5.75 pound reel. They bumped it up 5.95. So I'm running this setup, and of course I'm running fluoro, 6-pound fluoro on this. So 6 pound stick. And that's straight fluoro on this guy. No need for a leader on it. I mean, I'm running straight fluoro. It's not cool on a spinning reel, in my opinion, but it's the manageability is the problem with straight fluoro, and we don't have that issue here in Fishing Planet called manageability. So I ain't worried about my line spooling up and twisting on me because it doesn't happen in Fishing Planet. Real life, you wouldn't want to do this. You don't want to run fluorocarbon on a spinning reel. All right, 2. What do we got here? 2 is this is the Caesar, 23-foot Caesar, 10-pounder, and this has the Prima 3500, 9.9 on this one. So that's all that is. Nothing beefed about it. It's just standard stock out of the shop. A Caesar with a Prima on it right there. And now on this one guy here, I'm running braid to fluoro. My braid to fluoro combo. So you run braid you get much more braid on a reel than you can anything else. So you got with braid your toughest, and then of course fluorocarbons even it's a little more abrasive. So you tip it off with fluorocarbon so the fish can't see it, and we're good to go with that setup there. And I'm running leeches on this guy. Got a lot of trophy. That's one thing that they don't have in the book. They don't list it. They work real well, especially for trophy crappie leeches. All right, 3rd position. Now these are the DLC sticks. I'm bringing them. I like them. They're unique sticks. You can't buy them in the game. So there you go. They're both Troy's. They're Troy's, but watch the DLC and I get into it. I tear them apart. Actually all the reels and everything to go in. Again, they're primer reels. 5.2 at 31. There's a what? 5.2 at 31. 5.2 at 31. 5.2 at 31. 5. So they're all primer reels. They just beefed up. They beef them up a little bit. So that's what we got there. Got small minnows on a number 1. I think that's number 1 aught there. And I just go right down the line. 1 aught here. I got them loaded up with that one. I think we got what? Number 1 on this guy. Number 2 on this guy. Number 4 on this guy. And that's what we're going to fish with. And I don't need to go with McConses or nothing big on Quanskin for these flatheads. 60, what are they? 60 some pounds, maybe 70 pounds. So I want to make some XP and have some enjoyment out of the fight. McConses just, it's like catching bluegill. You just crank them in. So this will be a lot of fun. 50 pounders, cat boxers with the Leviathan 9000s on them. So it's 50.7. I run the stick. The engine down there is a 53.3. And I'm running 53-pound braid to fluoro. 53 all the way down the line here, 53. Of course, the stick's only at 50.7. It'll handle it. The stick's cheaper to fix than the reel, and line's cheap to buy. So I don't worry about that. The one that takes the most beating is the sticks if I don't fish it right. If I fish it right, then it doesn't take any beating at all. Again, stay in the green, don't fight your fish up in the red, and you'll be all right. No maintenance required. All right, those are my sticks. That's how we're going to handle this one. far as baits go, for the flat edge, again here, leeches on this guy, small cut bait, or large cut bait we'll start off with. And my or spinning rod that I'm taking. Now, this one here, it's kind of unique. And I like this one for going after crappie. I like this one better than my ultralight. This is the light rod, not an ultralight. So I can get 1/4 ounce. I can get 1/2 ounce. I can get, on this stick, I can get 3/4 ounce. That's a very wide range for a small stick like this, 7.5 pounds. I can throw a lot of different lures on this, a lot of them. Go to that night feather. The night feather is, you can't throw anything bigger than 1/4 ounce on it. I love it. I love that thing. Oh, come on, Buck. But we get into just the sticks and it won't be so sensitive. There we are. Yeah, if you look at the night feather here, 3 to 10 pound, which makes it nice. 10 pound, you got that extra 3 pounds. And I've been using that all through Nipro with my last couple of videos. I love this stick. It's really great. But where you get hurt is 1/28 to 1/3 ounce. That's it. You can't put nothing on that stick bigger than 1/3 ounce. So that really limits your hook size tremendously in the game. So this value cast, which I love, it's a lot lighter. It's 7.5 pounder. But when you bring it up like this, you got 7.5 pound on the stick, 7.7 pound on the Fishkin Hunter 4000, and then I run 7.5 pound string. So that's a nice solid 8 pound. I call it an 8 pound setup. I ain't worried about any fish 8 pound, 8 to 10 pound. I'm not worried about with this stick. So that handles all my crappies. It handles smallmouth buff. It handles all your panfish and then some. That's what I like about it. It's sweet. It's moderately fast. Okay, so that basically is it's gonna react quick to your fish. So that's something that you want. You don't want a spinning rod that's slow. That's for sure. By no means. And it's 1/4 to 3/4 ounce. Just allows you to throw just about anything in your tackle box on there. Well, down at this weight class. So that's what I like about it. This is a really good stick. So if you ain't got this stick, you might think about that. And it's the largest of the value spins, 8.6, so you get the furthest cast out of it. It's just, I like it. One of my good ones as far as level 1 through 10. This is in my video. Top best sticks in the game. This is one of them. Alrighty, folks. We're done with everything. We're ready to go catch ourselves some crappie here. I just got to get a license. I don't have a license or anything for where we headed out to first. Mudwater, Buck. So I think I remember where all my spots are down there. So we'll be back at 8 o'clock. All loaded up. I'll have my gear ready to go. I have my license ready to go. Back. Why didn't that switch? There we are. Didn't push the button hard enough. Okay, guys. I hope you got something out of that for crappies. I hope I didn't miss anything that I wanted to talk to you guys about with the crappies. I like crappie fishing. I do it. They've got books and books. Crappie fishing is like trout fishing. Everybody has a tactic. I see guys out there crappie fishing with daisy chains, like octopus chains. I mean, there's all kind of gear and rig ups because crappie are not a schooling fish. They don't school. Like, when you think of schooling fish, that's like the military. One goes right, they all go right. That's schooling fish, and they stay schooled, and they use that for protection. Crappies just like to hang out with one another. If you find one, you're always going to find a bunch of them, but they don't school. They just hang out. So, and they dip different depths. You could get crappies biting at 2 or 3 feet, and other crappies biting down another 3 or 4 feet. They're the master at suspension. You don't never know where in the water column crappies are going to be. So it's hard to find them. So I know guys that put down riggers, jigs, and they'll have grubs or minnows off of this thing every 3 feet, depth wise, until they find where they're biting. and they use that as their testing rod. And then once they find the depth where they're at, of course, now it's a little easier because you could, if you could ever read one of them fish finders on a boat. Oh man, 2 years now, and I'm still trying to figure mine out. I'm learning it better, but you need a degree. I'll tell you that. And I got one, and I still can't figure it out. But we're getting there. I watched so many videos on YouTube about that damn Moran Sea. Oy. Anyway, that's what we're doing. We're going after these crappies. They're going to be at different levels. We'll find where they're at, and we'll slay a couple of them. Hopefully, we'll get a bunch of trophies. So, you guys, it'll help you out with that tournament. All right, I'll see you back here in half an hour. Remember, bump that like button on your way out. Don't forget to hit the lights. And we shall see you later. Hey, Buck. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jules. Jules made it. Good deal. We'll see you later, guys. Never, ever give up the fight.